Welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another pro-revenge Reddit video. In our first story, fate helped me get back at my brother. Let's jump right in. I originally posted this in two parts as it was unfolding on r/relationship advice, and a couple people told me to post it here. I didn't know this sub existed, but I'm happy it does, so my brother, a 23-year-old male, and I, a 23-year-old female, are twins. Twins are supposed to have this special close relationship, but not in our case because he is so mean. He's constantly doing messed up stuff to me. The worst thing happened 5 years ago. I got my first boyfriend when I was 18 and a senior in high school. I know we were young, but I really loved him. We'd been dating for 10 months when my brother randomly decided, for literally no reason at all, to make up a story about how he caught me cheating and tell it to my boyfriend. He planned it all out. He came up with details. He made it sound real. And because he's such a scarily good liar and a master manipulator, my boyfriend believed him. No matter what I said or did to prove it wasn't true, he believed my brother over me. My brother kept up with his act the entire time and refused to admit he was lying. At one point, I thought I'd finally gotten my boyfriend to believe me, but then he broke up with me a few months later and confessed it was because he was still convinced I'd cheated on him and he couldn't move past it. He said, "The worst part is that you won't just tell me the truth." And not to sound dramatic, but that still haunts me. I want to cry every time I think about it, and I still miss him to this day. Also, I think it's important to note that my brother has never once apologized. He is so insanely mean that he just thinks it's funny. I even asked him once if he'd consider hitting up my ex and telling him the truth for my peace of mind, and he just laughed at me. I never got over what my brother did, and I always told myself I was gonna do the exact same thing to him one day. He's dated several girls since high school, but he'd never been serious enough about any of them for me to consider tricking them. I knew it wouldn't hurt him like he hurt me if I just tricked one of his flings or something. But he finally got his first serious girlfriend last year, and after thinking about it for a long time, I decided I was gonna do it. We live in different places now, so I had to do it all online. I used a different method than he did. I contacted his girlfriend pretending to be the girl he'd been cheating with. I made up an elaborate detailed story like he did to me, and even photoshopped proof and stuff. I made my story even more believable than he made his, and exactly like he did to me, I went as far as denying it even to him because I knew he might use my texts or calls to prove to his girlfriend that it wasn't true. He knew I was behind it though, solely because the girl I made up doesn't exist and there's no one else that would do this, but I kept denying it. His girlfriend wholeheartedly believed me, and my brother kept calling and texting me and begging me to give it up, even though I still wouldn't admit it was me. He was manipulating me and arguing that it's different because I was younger when he did it to me and my relationship wasn't serious, but my relationship was serious, and like I said, I still miss my ex. My brother really messed me up. I have empathy though, he doesn't. And I was starting to feel bad for his girlfriend because she's innocent. I was kind of regretting everything and thinking that maybe I should tell his girlfriend the truth for her sake, not his. But then his girlfriend asked me a question which led to her admitting that she's been suspicious of him for a long time. So I pried a little bit and encouraged her to look through his phone. She told me she couldn't because she didn't know the passcode and he wouldn't give her access to it. I guessed a few passcodes I thought it could be and gave them to her under the guise of seeing it once but not being sure which one I'd seen. That was kinda dumb, but I couldn't think of anything else to say and she didn't question it. She got in because it ended up being the same one he's had since 2012 when our dad got us iPhones and made us use the same passcode. Idiot. Anyway, lo and behold, it turns out my brother actually cheated on her and my setup was the reason she found out. He's been talking to and hooking up with multiple girls for pretty much the entirety of their relationship. I'm not surprised because he's a terrible person and cheating seems right up his alley, but I'm shocked at the same time. I literally can't believe things worked out this perfectly. It feels like a dream or something. The universe loves me. I hate to revel in his girlfriend's misery, but I was feeling guilty about her being collateral damage, so I feel like this is the best possible outcome. My lie ended up being the truth. Well, not exactly, but you know what I mean. So I didn't scar his girlfriend or leave her with permanent damage for no reason. All my interference did was speed up the process of the truth coming to light. In fact, my brother may have been able to hide his cheating forever if not for me. He probably would have just manipulated his girlfriend and/or refused to give her phone access forever. She hasn't broken up with him, and I'm honestly not sure if she will. I don't know how relevant that is, but it attests to how manipulative he is. He screws people over all the time, but somehow always gets his way anyway. It's honestly infuriating and scary. Anyway, I'm still not going to admit to my brother that I'm behind it all because there's no point. That would just get me into deeper trouble. I got a comment on my original post that said, "Deny till you die, baby," and that's exactly what I'm planning on doing. Lol. Life's crazy. Story number 2, my neighbors were consistently too loud. Throughout the year, I had noisy and thoughtless neighbors. They would often have loud parties that would go to the early hours of the morning. They were all in university. I had called the police, called the apartment manager, nobody would do anything about it. I was losing sleep and my work was becoming affected as well. I had spoken to them directly and they completely disregarded me and refused to just shut the flip up. This went on for months and I was riding out my lease to move somewhere else. One day, I'm sitting watching TV on a nice spring day and I have my windows wide open and I hear one of the neighbor's friends come over and he asks if he's coming out. And the answer is no. He needs to study for an important test he's taking the next day. This little snippet of information was all I needed. His friend leaves and he closes the door. I then proceeded to take my speakers and put them up against the walls. Near where I knew his desk was, there were balconies outside, so I often saw him studying here. And I began to blare Merzbow and death metal straight at the wall. I put on my noise-canceling headphones and just blasted it as loud as possible for hours. My landlord actually ended up coming into the apartment because I didn't hear him knocking, and he's obviously flipping out, but I'm like, meh, you never did crap when I complained, so good luck, call the cops. My lease was set to be up soon anyway, and I was leaving the state, so flip y'all. So, landlord leaves and I'm still amped up on adrenaline and it's quiet for maybe 20 minutes and I just intermittently start blasting music. The neighbor comes over irate, screaming that he has this big test and he's got to pass it, apparently a medical student. And I just laughed in his face and said, "I don't hear anything." He then makes a fantastic mistake, which was telling me he didn't just have a final tomorrow, but it was finals week. Oh, great. Added stress for the week equals the fact that I continue doing this every night for the rest of the week. I set my alarm to go off every 30 minutes and I would bang on the walls with a hammer and blast music, and I was going a bit crazy as well, but that didn't matter because I was flipping up this guy's life. Around day 3 of no sleep for anyone, he comes over screaming about how if he fails, his family will disown him and all this nonsense, which just made me laugh. I just said the same thing over and over, that I didn't hear the music and I think it was coming from somewhere else. I basically just started gaslighting him, acting really nice when he came over in a rage. That weekend, the landlord gave some BS notice that I had to leave, which I was fine with because he broke my lease and I wanted to get out anyway, so I got my deposit back. On the last morning I was there, I was moving out and I knocked on the butthead neighbor's door at like 8 a.m. and asked him if he wanted this old air conditioner I was going to throw out otherwise. He was totally in a daze and I don't know if he really understood what was happening any longer. Anyway, hopefully, I flipped up his life and his future a bit. He should have shut up the numerous times I asked him to. This is John from Slash Bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to be the first to know when the next one drops, subscribe and click on that notifications bell. We would love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, and we will see you in the next one.